Dare I ask, is this thing on?
Well done.
$15 cover.
To get a drink?
Hey,
Yeah.
How come she didn't have to pay $15?
she signed up for the open mic.
But I think the thing that kind of is so interesting about the film as an idea, it sort of is the setup for a joke. A man walks into a bar. You know, it's directed by Bradley Cooper, starring Will Arnett, Laura Dern, big Hollywood film, and based on a true story, which is your story.
Yeah.
How does that end up on the desk of Oscar-nominated director Bradley Cooper?
Through Will Arnett. I mean, I met Will Arnett 8 years ago, but Will Arnett and Bradley Cooper have been best friends for 25 years. And I told Will the story about how I got into comedy. He said that would be a great film. Can I have a go at writing it with his writing partner, Mark Chappell? So they started writing it. And then, now it must be maybe 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, he was on a flight with Bradley Cooper, and Bradley said, "What are you working on?" And he said, "We're trying to look at finishing this film." So he said, they were stuck on the script. Will was stuck on the script, and he sent it to Bradley just for ideas. And then Bradley phoned him back and said, "Can I direct it?" And so that then took it onto another level.
I'm going to shake it up tonight. So let's put your hands together for Alex Novak.
I think I'm getting a divorce. What tipped me off was that I'm living in an apartment on my own, and my wife and kids don't live there. That was probably the biggest clue.
It's like the whole thing. Life's all the same. It's sliding doors, isn't it? You know, like if I hadn't gone into that comedy club, then you know, this film may not have happened. But if my wife hadn't have come without knowing I did comedy, this wouldn't have happened. If I hadn't met Will on a barge in Amsterdam, this wouldn't have happened. And if Will hadn't have been mates with Bradley Cooper for 20 odd years, it wouldn't have happened. Sometimes stuff that begins now has a big effect 15 years later, and it's just takes a lot of coincidences for this to land.
I've been doing stand-up. Is it like a hobby? Well, I'm not about to quit my job and go on tour. It's just it's something I look forward to.
And during that time and during that process, did you get to work on the script at all, or were you on set, or when you sat down to watch the film, was that the...
No, no one goes on set. Unless you're in it, you don't go on set. That's one of Bradley's rules. And when I say that, I mean the producers. You know, and you can imagine the faith that you must have to give somebody millions of dollars, and you're not even allowed to come and see it until the end. But that's the way it works. And we had a good chat about it, and I had to hand over the story. I had to have faith in what Will, Mark and Bradley were writing, and then have faith in what Bradley was making. And that's obviously not an easy step, but you know, we had lots and lots of conversations all the way up. And I was over there just before they started filming. We went round to Bradley's house, and he showed us the type of weight, the tone he was going to film it in. And I met all the heads of the departments, but as soon as day one starts, it's his film.
Right, and as a stand-up, that's probably quite tough, because normally it's
everything.
You write it, you say it, and then it's straight to the audience, but you have to hand it like this massive team, and it's going overseas.
But also, we were having a conversation this week. The three of us, we just ended up in a different scenario, doing some pressing. Me, Will and Brad, we were talking and saying we probably couldn't have done this at a different time in our lives. You know what I mean? For me, I don't think, if this film had come around, say, 15 years ago or something like that, I don't think my ego would have allowed me to let it go. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think I've come to the stage in my life where I'm comfortable enough with who I am to not feel that somebody can take anything away. And the fact that the story is such a good story at the heart of it, it's about love, it's about two people finding each other. You want the best people to portray that. You don't want the best people who make you the middle of it. You want the best people who make the story the middle of it.
Hey, listen, do you mind if I drop them off here for a couple hours?
Don't ambush me like this in front of the boys. You suck.
You suck.
Give it up for me, I'm doing great. I'm paying rent on a shitty apartment and mortgage for a house that I don't even live in anymore.
So I'm the only one who doesn't know about this?
Yeah, and what was it like to see that story on?
Mad. Honestly, it was mad. It was, we've seen it now 3 times, me and my wife. And we saw a rough cut, then we saw the big premiere in London, and then last weekend we saw it with friends. And the big premiere in London was in a big venue, it was 2,500 people, it was in a big red carpet, loads of fuss. But last weekend we had a screening in Liverpool for friends and family, and that was when, I suppose for both of us, that's the first time we properly watched it. And that's when it really struck us.
You're not naive, you're innocent.
You are good. I mean, you're bad at stand-up, but you're good. You have a good heart.
And one of the things I really loved was that sequence where we're seeing the green room and it's people teaching Alex how to write jokes and how to book gigs and do shows. Did that kind of ring true of your experience?
Oh, yeah. When I started comedy, I worked in sales and marketing. So I assumed everybody was competitive because that's what it's like in sales and marketing. And honestly, and I don't think it's changed. That comedy club where it's set is a comedy club I go to in New York. I work there. I'm going in 2 weeks to do a week of gigs. And it's just gigs. I'm just getting up like everybody else doing 15 minutes. But you sit at the table. The Olive Tree Cafe is above there. And there's a comedian's table, and only the comedians sit there. You get invited to sit there amongst the comedians, and everyone shares stuff and shares notes, and that's very reflective of the way when I started. And that's why I love Ireland. I mean, I got on telly in Ireland because of other comedians recommending me. I got on telly, Colin Murphy, I got on telly in the Blame game in Northern Ireland, then Colin Murphy was on that. He was doing the panel down south. He recommended me to the people in the panel. Comedians, it's a meritocracy comedy. It's not like the judgment is made by the audience. So if you're on a comedy bill, one of you will make more people laugh than the others. It just happens to be like that, and everyone recognizes that. So it may not be your style of comedy or whatever, but you respect that. So other comedians are really supportive about pushing people on. That's what I found.
You tell jokes?
Well, I mean, I try. It's more like kind of funny stories from my life. And
Oh, honey, I had no idea your life was this bad.
Yeah, what's funny about your life?
This is why she threw you out. Are you gonna be okay?